Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Anna. I'm a little bit spooky, and today we're talking all about skin. We are going to be doing a creamy, perfected, long-wearing foundation makeup routine. It is my favorite way of doing foundation, where the skin looks slightly radiant and just the best way to describe it is creamy. It's not overly glowy. It's not matte. It is kind of a satin skin-like finish that I think is stunning and doesn't look like you're wearing foundation. It just looks like you have amazing skin. It's just a little more elevated than my everyday foundation routine, where we're taking a little extra time working in some layers, soft light layers, building product where we need it, and just taking that little bit of extra time to get things perfected so this foundation can wear up to like 16 hours and still look perfect. At the end of the day, you just may need a little touch up here and there depending on your skin type. We're going to be starting from the very beginning with skin prep all the way through to setting spray. And if that interests you, just go ahead and keep on watching. But before you do, don't forget to like and subscribe. Comment down below, let me know, is there any other techniques you would like to see me talk about on the channel? Do you have any questions about application, this or that, whatever your concerns are, let me know down below and I will try to address them best I can. Without further ado, let's go ahead and just get into this video all about creamy, perfected, long-wearing foundation. Okay, so let's get started on the long-wear, creamy, perfect, flawless skin look that I'm kind of obsessed with. It's my favorite way of doing foundation, especially if I want longevity. I want a little bit more perfection with the makeup. This is the go-to. So most important thing with any look is skin prep. And ideally you want your skin to be in its best condition possible. Obviously we all have some skin issues. It's never going to be perfect. You do your best, right? And I feel like skin prep is just very important for a flawless makeup application. A couple of tips that I do like to throw in is maybe doing a face mask the night before, like maybe something with some exfoliating is really nice. Dermaplaning, great option for some flawless looking makeup because it just makes everything look very smooth. You get rid of all the little baby hairs this stuff will cling to. It will make your foundation sit very beautifully. So ideally, I do like to go in twice a week with some sort of exfoliating mask, be it the Kate Somerville Exfoliates, the Glam Glow Classic Mud Mask, Super Mud Mask. I love using that one. Colleen Rothschild has some great exfoliating masks. Just anything like that that really kind of get all the dead skin off, slough everything away, and leave your skin feeling baby smooth. I also really do like to dermaplane once a week on my face just to get rid of all those baby hairs. But that is something I really would recommend doing the night before in case your skin does get a little reactive and red, which can happen with exfoliating products. Particularly if you have fair skin or sensitive skin, you can get a lot of redness and sometimes a little bit of irritation, especially if it's a product you're not familiar with. It can happen. After any sort of exfoliating product, I do go with a very generous, gentle moisturizer with like skin barrier repair. If you'd like me to make a video that's really more in-depth about skincare tips and tricks and what I do, let me know down below. But today we're just talking more about the actual skin prep of things. I just wanted to throw a little tip in there. Skin prep before makeup, though, is essential to me and something you kind of can't really skip if you're wanting a flawless complexion. So I like to start with an essence. This is the Fresh Kombucha Facial Treatment Essence. This is to boost luminosity. It has antioxidants and advanced metabolics. And yeah, it's just a lovely little essence. You don't have to use an essence, just maybe a hydrating toner. This is more of the kind of extra step that you can skip if you wanted to. To me, it's a lovely step though. And I take a little bit on a cotton round. You don't have to use cotton round. You can just use your hands to pat this into the skin, whatever works for you. And I go ahead and do my brows before I do my skincare, just because I feel like it's easier that way. You don't have anything slipping and sliding around on your face. So you can just kind of throw the brows on and you can even tidy them up with your face creams. So it's another nice little hack there. But yeah, I always do my brows first thing. But I just brush a little bit of this across the skin. This will give a little boost of hydration and a little bit of love. My skin is combo. It can be a bit oily, it can be a bit dry, like I get surface dryness, but I also have oiliness. And this I just gently sweep across the face. I'm not scrubbing or anything. And my skin is very reactive, so when I do touch it, it gets red, so it might look like I'm being a little more rougher than I am. And take it all the way down to the neck. Also, neck, chest, whatever you can get to on that particular day. And then I usually go in just with my everyday serums I like to use. I'm into the C Firma Fresh Day Serum from Drunk Elephant. This is their 15% L-ascorbic acid and ferulic acid treatment. This is a really, really nice vitamin C option. And I just press this in to the skin. On most days, I do my skincare a bit of time before I'm actually sitting down to do my makeup, to give it some time to really soak in to the skin so it's not just sitting on top. I usually give it about 10-20 minutes, something like that. And then today I decided to go with the Dr. Barbara Sturm skincare range for everything else because I just really enjoy her line of products and I think they make the skin look really, really nice. So I'm going to take the super anti-aging serum from Dr. Barbara Sturm. I think this is kind of like a hyaluronic acid type serum. And I just brush that into the skin as well. And again, whatever is left just comes on down. And I'm going to take the eye cream from her range as well. This is the super anti-aging eye cream. And eye cream is definitely a great thing to incorporate into your day-to-day skin prep for doing makeup because it will allow your concealer to sit a lot better. If you get creasiness, dryness, crepiness under the eyes, hydration under there will work wonders. But you don't want anything super heavy at the same time because that will also contribute to creasing. So it's a fine balance. This is a bit of a richer eye cream. But I just put a small amount and just gently pat that in. Again, this is another product that is really good to kind of let soak in and sink in and work its magic. I like this one because it seems quite rich, but then it really does sink in. It just does its job. And I bring it up between the brows, around the brow bone, all around, and a bit onto the lid. And because I am giving it that time to soak in, I'm not worried about it interfering with my eyeshadow or anything like that and causing any creasing there or oiliness on the lid because I do give it that chance to really absorb. Alright, and then for my regular day cream, I am going to go in with the Super Anti-Aging Face Cream from Dr. Barbara Sturm. This is, again, another seemingly rich product, but it kind of just soaks, melts, and sinks into the skin really well. And for my skin type, that is a little bit combo-y, oily-ish, depending. I use a smaller amount of this than like I would if I was doing this at nighttime, just so I'm not over applying the product. And it just really does disappear right into the skin and soak in and just gives you such beautiful hydration. Like I just took a little dollop for my skin type and this is the perfect amount. And the skin prep can all be tailored to your skincare needs, obviously. This is just what works for me and as a standard what I would do on somebody else if I was doing their makeup or whatever. It was just a nice moisturizer, an under eye cream, and maybe a hydrating serum. But it really does all come down to skin type. Another good prep product that I absolutely love for this step would be the Bobbi Brown Vitamin Rich Face Base. This truly does create a perfect canvas for foundation. Really is a hydrating, priming product. It is the best of both worlds. Your skin does just somehow look absolutely flawless with this product. And it's just all around. Is a reason it's a cult favorite and like a holy grail product for a lot of people. It's very lightweight, yet deeply nourishing. But yeah, I like to give the skincare a few minutes to really soak in, do its thing before I go with any other products. I am going to be leaving the house today and going outside and seeing sunshine, so I am going to use an SPF. And lately I have been really enjoying this one from a brand called Kinship. This is the Self-Reflect Probiotic Moisturizing Sunscreen with zinc oxide broadband spectrum 32. This one's a really nice mineral option. It does have a little bit of a white cast, but not the worst in the world. It gives you a lot of glow. But like my fail-safe, tried and true, trusty SPF is the Dermalogica Dynamic Skin Recovery. It's at SPF 50. This is one of the most undetectable SPFs I've ever used. It is thin, it sinks right in, it gives you some lovely moisturization. It doesn't make your skin feel greasy. It doesn't feel like anything is on your skin. And it doesn't irritate my eyes or my face. It's the number one right here. This one's also a great option that I've really been using a lot lately. But I figured for today's makeup, since we are going with the ultimate favorite products for the creamy skin, we'll use some of the Dermalogica SPF 50. So I usually take just a few pumps of it. The recommended amount, is it 2 or 3 fingers width, and I apply it in layers. I don't go in with all the product in one go. And if you are particularly oily and need SPF, you can't skip your moisturizer. Skip the moisturizer and go with something like this that does offer some moisturization on top of being an SPF. Basically, there's no cast. It just truly disappears into the skin. It feels like just a very lightweight, nice moisturizer. It is truly a unique product, and being an SPF 50 I think is amazing, because that is hard to find in such a cosmetically beautiful product. Alright, now that I feel like everything is soaked into the skin really well, we just have a really nice healthy glow to the skin that just looks like we've done some nice skincare and have healthy skin, but things aren't greasy feeling or super tacky. It doesn't feel like anything that's going to interfere with the finish of the foundation. And since we're talking about long wear and very perfected skin, I love to go in with a combination of a glow enhancing product, something like a Flawless Filter or the e.l.f. Halo Glow, something like this on the perimeter of the face or the high points and kind of outer part, and then in the T-zone I like to take something more pore filling and a little bit more mattifying, and that's really going to help with the longevity of the foundation and help smooth things out and really get them just creamy and flawless looking. The e.l.f. Matte Putty Primer is a really good option if you have really oily skin. This is a extremely mattifying primer, but it's not too heavy. If you use it with a light application, just using what you truly need of it, and a bit around the nostrils, around the nose, right in the T-zone, anywhere that gets particularly oily on you or that you have some pores that you really want to blur, something like this is really nice. This is just a little mini of that. Another one I really like is the Age Perfect Blurring Face Primer infused with Caring Serum. This is from L'Oreal, and this is in the rosy shade. It really doesn't impart any color. It's pretty transparent once you put it on. But this one also gives a really pretty soft blur look. So I'm going to go ahead and start with my glowy kind of skin product, and I bounce between quite a few glow enhancers, but lately it's been Flawless Filter and e.l.f. Halo Glow. I'm going to take the Flawless Filter in this mini because I'm just trying to use this mini up. I have a full size of it waiting in the wings, and I want to get every last drop because I don't like to waste. As I really focus it right out here, a bit on the forehead, like on the highest points, the tops of the cheekbones, and just kind of around the outside of the face. And what's nice about Flawless Filter and the e.l.f. Halo Glow is that they don't really enhance texture. They just give a beautiful, filtered, soft, glowy look to the skin that's not metallic. It's just a soft kind of pearl. And I feel like both those products sit really beautifully on the skin without enhancing a texture or fine lines that you may have around this area of the face. And I usually just buff that in with a little foundation brush. It can come in on the inner part of the face. I'm not too worried about it staying exactly right here on the outer perimeter, but I'm just not putting an excess of product there. I'm just letting it blend over, and that's totally fine. Because once we go in with the other primer, it'll balance it out. And I do like to put a little on the nose. I like a little bit of a glow on the nose. So we're not going for matte skin today. We're going for creamy, just perfected skin. It's not going to look wet, shiny. It's just going to be that perfect balance to me of skin-like perfection. And of course, you can use your own discretion with how much you apply of your glow. You can skip it if you really want to. If you don't like glowy skin, that's all up to you. And if you're particularly dry and don't like to have any kind of mattifying products, you can totally skip. You can totally skip the kind of pore filling mattifying primer if you want to. It's all relative. It's all up to you. This is just how I like to do it. So I take a small amount of the Age Perfect primer. This has a really nice texture. It's kind of cooling feeling. I take a little bit and apply it right here around the mouth and kind of pore area, my cheeks. And just smooths things out just a little bit. It makes them look a little bit more perfected. And I like this one because it's not extremely mattifying looking. It just blurs. If you want more of a mattifying effect, the e.l.f. Putty Primer and the mattifying finish is really nice for that. But I'm just taking a small amount, and you can see how it is kind of taking down that shine in the center of the face where I'm applying this. And I'm really kind of trying to press it into the skin, not swiping or rubbing. You just push it in. And again, this is something that you can kind of let set for a few minutes, and it really kind of does its thing and does its magic, if you will. So now I have a little bit more of a blurred, slightly mattified look to the inner part of the face, and then we still have the Flawless Filter Glow going around the perimeter and hitting the high points. I think it's just a really nice balance between the two. And if you're somebody who needs color correction, this is a great time to go ahead and do your color correctors under your eyes or any blemishes, whatever it is that you need to do. Now at this step is when I like to prime my eyes. I go ahead and prime my eyes now because I am going to be probably adding a little bit of coverage to them. You know, a little concealer is going to get up there, a little foundation, and just kind of even out the skin tone. So I'm going to go ahead and prime them now, even though we're not going to really be doing eyeshadow in this video. It's kind of part of the steps. And because I'm going to be doing the foundation and everything and the concealer, I do like to bring a little bit of concealer across the lids because I have veiny, freckly lids that need a little coverage on them. So I'm taking the NYX Ultimate Shadow Primer. This one's fine. It's just a standard eyeshadow primer. And it doesn't really offer any coverage too much. So yeah, I do like to add a bit of coverage over the top. I also really enjoy the Sigma Eye Primer stick. That one gives beautiful coverage and a really perfected canvas for the lid. But yeah, just tap a little bit of that on to the lid, up to the brow. You can take a little bit under the eye if you need to, if you get creasing under there. A tad, like whatever's left on your finger, just tap it right under there on the lower lash line. You can even take a bit, say like in the creases of your smile lines or somewhere, or like on your nose, areas that you have a really hard time with product staying intact. You can take a touch of eyeshadow primer and it will kind of work wonders. It's a neat little hack. You don't want to put too much eye primer because it can sometimes do the opposite of what you want, just because it's too much product there, and it can sometimes come off a bit dry and crunchy if you over apply it. Less is more in the eyeshadow primer department. This is going to keep all the oils on the lid from breaking down the eyeshadow and give really great longevity to all the makeup around the eyes and cut down any issues with creasing. And just that light amount, you don't see any heaviness or kind of chalky look that sometimes eye primers can give. They can make your lids look quite dry. Going in with a lighter hand with the primer usually combats that. There are some that are just drying and will make your lids look crepey. Now the skin is prepped for foundation. Finally, I know. I have a few products that I really enjoy using together for this creamy, a little more coverage, perfected, soft glam kind of skin. First is the IRL line from Makeup Revolution. I think this is a beautiful collection for some more of a long wear, a bit more perfected, and because we add that glow in with the primer, this won't look so dry on the skin, because this has the potential to look dry, I think, if you have really dry skin to begin with, but prepping the skin really well and adding the glow primer will combat that. And it really does give a beautiful creamy finish to the skin. So these are products that I really do enjoy for this look, and I'll kind of shear out the coverage a little bit, not go too full coverage with them, and that gives that just more of a natural, creamy, perfected look to the skin that just looks flawless, but doesn't look like a lot of makeup. The other little combo I like here is the Butter Glow line from Physicians Formula, the Butter Glow foundation and concealer. Beautiful, beautiful products. All of these have really good wear time, just look very light and perfecting on the skin. They truly kind of filter the skin and make things look very smooth and flawless and very much a nice creamy finish. And you can adjust the level of glow and how matte it is by your primers, your setting sprays, this and that. There's lots of ways to tweak the makeup. I like going in with more of a glowy base and then a more matte satin finish foundation because it just creates a really nice balance. And these are very, very perfecting products. Yeah, a little bit goes a long way with all of these. But I think today we're going to go with the IRL Longwear foundation. I have it in the shade F2. This is a beautiful foundation. It is a matte foundation that claims to be quite long wearing. It does give a nice blur filtered look to the face. It doesn't emphasize anything. I don't feel like it emphasizes any dry patches either, even though it is a more of a matte foundation. It has a bit more of a skin-like, more of a satin finish if you ask me. Now if you go in and apply a lot of powder to it or something, you're definitely going to get a more matte finish. What I like about these two foundations in particular is that it's very adjustable with what kind of finish you get. I feel like it's really easy to get that kind of creamy, somewhere between glowy, more of a satin look to the skin. So I'm just going to tap a bit on with a brush initially. Again, we're going to be working in very light layers of product today. Very light hand, and just going to pop this on initially with my brush just to get it on there and do a light buff with it just to kind of blend it out. These also have very buildable, adjustable coverage levels. That's one thing that I think is really nice about a more full coverage foundation, is that you truly get a lot of versatility out of it, as you can really take down the coverage by using a lighter hand and build it where you need it. Like I said, I enjoy a good multitasking, versatile product that I can kind of get whatever type of look I'm going for with. They can suit my needs for that day. I also really enjoy serum foundations. Those tend to be inherently a little more light coverage, but the handful of them that I really love and like skin tints are ones that are very buildable if you need them to be. If I'm doing a more full-on eyeshadow look, I would do my eyes first, which is something I tend to do a lot, especially during allergy season. My eyes just get a little more irritated, and it's easier for me to do my foundation or my eyes before I do my foundation. But since we're not focusing on eyeshadow today, we'll just do it all in one go. Now I like to take a damp beauty sponge. My favorite is the e.l.f. Flawless Face Sponge, I believe is what this is called, or Total Face Sponge. And I like to just press over the skin. And this will pick up any excess product as well as press that foundation in to the skin nicely. Get rid of any streakiness or anything like that. And the brush I was using was the e.l.f. Dual Complexion brush. Beautiful brush. Love it. It has become one of my favorite brushes for foundation and concealer. But I really enjoy the combo of a sponge and brush. But it all kind of depends on how much effort I'm putting in that day. But this is the more effort foundation. This is the date night special event. This could even be bridal. Or if I just really want to look my best, this is what I do. Anywhere I need to build a little coverage, just add a tad more. And I probably used maybe a pump of the foundation altogether. Because even though I'm going for a bit more of a perfected, creamy skin look, I don't mind seeing a little bit of freckle through the skin or through the foundation. I don't want to completely mask my face. That's one of the great things about being human, is that our skin is all different. And we have characteristics and little things that make us all unique and pretty. And I love seeing real skin texture and little, what we most often refer to as flaws, show through. So this was a nice layer of foundation. Things look perfected. They look even. There's taken down the redness. Perfected. We have a nice creamy finish to the skin. It's a little more, it's kind of satiny. It's not overly matte. It's not glowy either. It's that perfect balance. And look how much I have left on the back of my hand. I always pump out way too much. Of course, you do also want to bring some down the neck and chest, whatever is showing. Don't forget to do that. If you're wearing your hair back, a little bit on the ears. Ears tend to get red. My ears do, in particular. Then just tap a little bit around. Just make sure everything looks even and cohesive. Now is the time I like to go in with a little bit of contour. I really am enjoying the Milani contour here. This is the liquid contour from the Conceal and Perfect line. This is the lightest shade. It is in Honey. It's nice, warm, a little bit more of a bronzer type of shade on me. And I think it's really nice. It looks really pretty and fresh for spring, summer. And I think it's just very pretty. And still also gives a nice structure to the face. And what's really nice about this is that it has such a thin formula that's so easy to blend and just kind of looks seamless on the skin. So I just take it in the usual contour regions. I just did a video all about contour, so I'm going to breeze through this section. And I'll link the video about contour in the eye. Alright, we'll go with a little bit of concealer now, just to do all the concealing steps. I'm going to take the IRL Filter Finish Concealer. This is a soft matte concealer with long wear. It also is infused with some skincare. And I'm going to apply it just right in here. Very light layers again. I like to avoid putting product right here in this, in this little dip in my chin, because it does gather there and can crease pretty significantly. So try to avoid putting too much product in that region. Keep it as thin as possible. I have always had that crease there, and it has always been an irritating little thing. But anyways, putting the concealer anywhere that needs a little extra coverage maybe. Anywhere I want to brighten up. And you can also use this time to correct any contour that might have gone astray. And just pat that out with my sponge. Sometimes I use a brush and go over with a sponge. Sometimes I just go straight with the sponge. It kind of just varies. What I do like about this concealer from Makeup Revolution, it has a really nice level of pigmentation without being heavy. It's quite thin and just great coverage level. It looks pretty smooth, and it looks smooth on the under eye. It's a flattering formula. Decent wear time again. It's good stuff. And just a little patting to really make sure everything is worked into the skin nicely and pressed in. I also like to take a bit of magnified mirror and get in here and really make sure everything is looking blended and there's no creasing or anything. Because sometimes I can't see that in my mirror that is way over there, off screen, out of frame. And 9 times out of 10 there's a pumpkin hair on my face that I have to pick off. And just taking whatever's left on my sponge just across the lid area, just to even everything out really nicely. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and set everything down with some powder. I'm going to use the Makeup Revolution powder. Another powder I really love is the Halo Glow Setting Powder. Talk about give the skin a beautiful creamy look. We might use a combo of both of them today. I'm going to use this one for my initial setting, and then maybe we'll use this one as more of a finishing powder step. But I really like the Makeup Revolution IRL powder. This is one of those really make your pores disappear, perfecting powder. So a little combo of multiple powders. If we're going for perfection, not a big deal. So I like to do initially for right under the eyes, I've started using a fluffy brush like this, like a fluffy eyeshadow brush, and taking a little bit of my setting powder on it and going right under here. I just feel like I can really get in there and get the under eye set really nicely using a small brush. And it's been working out really well. I use a fairly small brush for setting my under eyes, so I feel like sometimes I just kind of miss right under here where I will tend to crease more. And this I can kind of get right in there and set that area to avoid creasing. And before you do set, you want to make sure you don't have any creases. Give a little tap under the eyes. If you see things settling, go ahead, tap it out, and then set. But if I don't set my under eyes, I do get creasiness because I have oilier under eyes and eye region. And it just happens. But I really like to go just right under there and kind of press with the brush. So I had to wait for one of my lights to charge. So I went ahead and just threw some eyeshadow on. And yeah, where were we? Powdering the skin. Kind of blanked. So I think I was talking about, I typically use a smaller brush for when I'm setting my face, but I have found using just this nice eyeshadow brush for really getting in there and getting areas set. It's very good for like strategic setting if you don't like to powder your entire face, particularly if you have dry skin. You can really focus this in on all those areas that you just want a little bit of mattification. Maybe there are areas you tend to get a little oily. Great technique there. Now for me, because I tend to get oily around my mouth, all in here, jawline, basically everywhere but right here and right here gets oily on me. I do go in and set a little bit more, but I like to focus under here with this little brush and really able to get in there and get things set. So for the rest of the face, I'm going to take this brush. This brush will do. And just going to make sure I get all around here with the Makeup Revolution powder. I'm using the loose side. It does come with a pressed and loose. And I'm really kind of pressing that right into the skin. And you can like literally watch your pores disappear. It is so fun. And it's not a heavy powder at all. It doesn't look chalky on the skin. It actually looks very, very thin, very light. It reminds me a lot of the By Terry Hyaluronic Hydra Powder in its texture. Just that very thin, silky, kind of HD powder feel. And just do a light little dusting around here. And since we are focusing kind of on longevity and perfection, you can kind of maybe add a little more powder than you would normally do, especially if you're more oily. Like if you were going to bake or something. Today's a good day to do that. And this powder from Makeup Revolution does lend itself very well to baking and really locks makeup in so well. Like the trio of this powder, the foundation, the concealer, completely flawless all together. Like they definitely work as a great team. So next up, I'm going to add a little bit more Sculpt and Bronze in, just for that little added extra glam. So I'm going to take the Film Star Bronze and Glow from Charlotte Tilbury. Little kind of pointed blending brush, cheek brush. This is an e.l.f. highlighting brush, but it's fantastic for applying like a light sculpt. And just kind of reinforce where we did that bronzer. And using more tapping motions rather than sweeping, so nothing is disturbed underneath. And layering up like a couple of contour products, the powder, the cream. You get amazing longevity that way. And using the light layers and a light hand, it doesn't look makeup-y at the same time. It looks very light. Most of the time when I dip into anything, I automatically go like that on the back of my hand, just so I don't over apply product. Take a small little pointed blending brush, and what we're going to do is contour the nose with this lightly. So I'm just going to take a little bit onto the brush, just touching the pan, and just swipe a touch right here from the front of the brow down. I'm not like sculpting the nose so much as I'm just adding some depth, some dimension to keep things from looking flat and washed out. I'm not like changing the shape of my nose. And take a little bit right up here. Just gives a really nice lift to the eye. And try not to come down too far with that. Now I'm going to go ahead and do some blush. And again, we're going to do some layering with the blush. My favorite product for this, the Patrick Ta, the Double Take Cream and Powder Blush Duo. I'm going to use the shade Do We Know Her. It's just a really beautiful, warm, springy, summery color. And you have a cream and a powder in one here. And you initially go in with the cream and then you can dust the powder over top or vice versa. Just whatever kind of suits your application style. He usually uses the powder first and then goes in with the cream over top. And that actually works beautifully with his products. I haven't tried that with other cream products, but with his, they're kind of formulated to play together really well. You can also, say, double up like a powder and cream from any brand and basically get the same effect, though. You don't have to have the Patrick Ta. Like something like these cream blushes from Milani will have the same effect on the skin as the cream in the Patrick Ta. That's what we're going to use today. And for that, I'm just going to take a large kind of fluffy brush like this. This is a Flawless face brush from e.l.f. I really like this one. It's very, very soft. I like just, it has a lovely texture. You could also apply the cream blush with a sponge. I'm not big into that. I usually just take the sponge and like tap out around the edges to blur it, but I don't like applying it with the sponge initially. So take a little bit of the cream. You can do the cream first, the powder first, whatever you want to do. But I'm going to go with the powder first as his application method. And I'm doing this number, making sure it's not too much on the brush and it kind of works it into the brush. And we're going to tap onto the skin. And I like a nice high placement with my blush up here. And that's just a nice soft application of that. And we can take the cream now if we want to. If you want a little more intensity, it's up to you. But layering products and just thin, delicate layers just creates for the most flawless application and wear. So with the cream, I'm really working that into the brush. And I'm just going to tap over top. And you can use these individually too. It's kind of all up to you. And I also like to kind of just, whatever's left, that little bit, just come around the rest of the face a little. Just so it's not in the one spot. It kind of looks a little more natural when the blush is appearing in more than one place. But just a very soft kind of wash. Very, very soft. And now's when I like to take my sponge and just, the sponge I use to apply the foundation, and just pat. And make sure everything's just really pressed into the skin. This is the makeup that I do when I want to just take my time and make things look as perfect as possible. I enjoy it. It's very relaxing for me to do this and take that time to really perfect everything. And we'll do a little bit of highlighter on the high points of the cheeks to really give the skin a nice glow, because we do have that very creamy finish. It's glowy, but it's not glass skin, super glowy. This is a very kind of a restrained, very natural skin-like glow. It's creamy. That's the only way I can really describe it. And I'm going to take the highlighter from the Film Star Bronze and Glow. You could definitely do a cream highlighter at this stage. Just depends on your preferences. To me, this highlighter looks very wet on the skin and can look very beautiful. And it's a little bit of an easy product to work with, where sometimes a cream isn't the easiest, especially over like this kind of makeup. But you can always just tap a little with your finger. We're gonna keep it a little restrained. We're not gonna go crazy. And I'm just gonna tap right on the high points. Just like that. Right here on the brow bone with whatever's left on the brush. Down the nose just a little bitty bit. And I like to take a little bit right here above the brow. Very softly. For longevity's sake, I do like to take a little bit of a finishing powder step. You could use the pressed portion in this. One of those pink kind of brightening powders. I think it's really pretty for this step. And like something like an Hourglass ambient lighting powder. Gorgeous for this part in the makeup, just to make sure everything's kind of flowing and blurred together. I'm going to use a little bit of the e.l.f. Halo Glow setting powder. Just a small amount, and give it a nice small brush. Just take a little bit of this powder, and this is what kind of really gives a nice creamy effect to the skin, because this powder has a ethereal glow to it. Again, it's very perfecting. It also can blur pores and have that very filtered look while still having a luminous finish, but not oily or metallic. It just gives just this really pretty skin-like look, but your face is like set. There's no tackiness or stickiness on the face. And this is just a really nice time to kind of make sure everything is seamless. I can't rave enough about the Halo Glow powder. It's a fantastic option and really comparable in look on the skin as an Hourglass ambient lighting powder for like a quarter of the price. I mean, this performs like high-end beautiful. And there we go. Everything is looking set. You can do a little brightening under here if you want to with a brightening powder. And a little perfecting if you want to. It's just that finishing part of the makeup. Everything comes together. And the final step to lock it all in for the longevity is a good setting spray. Something like an Urban Decay All-Nighter, Scandinavia. This one from Milani I really, really enjoy. e.l.f. makes a great one. But this is the Make It Last. This is also claims 16-hour wear. And this gives your skin a little bit of a glow as well and really gets rid of any powdery look you may have. But it truly elongates your makeup and makes it last really well. It is hairspray for the face. They make a dewy version as well of this, and they have one with sunscreen. I don't recommend the one with sunscreen, but it exists. I just love the OG one. And just give it a couple of mists around the face and just let this dry. And you will have the most creamy, perfected skin ever. I'm going to throw on some lipstick while this is drying and touch my brows, and we'll be right back for the final results. Okay, and here is our look all complete. Our creamy, perfected, soft glam skin. This is great for events, for wedding, bridal, all the things, date night, and even just day to day if you like a little extra oomph to your makeup. I love the finish on the skin. Like it's got a little bit of radiance, a little bit of glow, but it is not over the top. It's not wet, glowy skin. It is just creamy, skin-like, and perfected. Like, does it look like I'm wearing a ton of foundation? Nah. And it's because we worked in those soft, light layers, layering the product kind of gently, and yeah, mixing the finishes with the more mattifying products and the glowy products to get this nice balance within the makeup. It's my favorite way to do foundation for those special events, date nights, nights out. Just that little bit of more of an elevated foundation routine, and you get great longevity with this technique. So yeah, thank you for hanging out with me today. Let me know down below if there's any more foundation techniques you would like to see, some tips and tricks from me. Let me know down below, questions, whatever. I got you. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Stay safe and stay spooky. Bye now.